moment in Canadian history here at Parliament Hill. I love you, Canada! Yeah! The revolution will not be televised, but it will be moderately distributed on YouTube, depending on how far we could beat the AI algorithm that decides how many people see this video in the general public. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and we have a lot of very important, crazy news to get into today. As of course, the truckers have arrived to Ottawa. We're going to be talking about that, the significant ramifications of this, the movements that have been inspired by this, along, of course, with all the latest news, all here on this independent media broadcast. And there's so much to get into. We're just going to jump right into it, as of course, I think what we're seeing right now could be explained by Newton's third law, that for every action, there's an equal reaction. And when you have so many people demanding freedom and liberty, that's a direct response from politicians taking it away from them. And let's be honest, there have been a lot of politicians emboldened and fervently fighting to get rid of your personal liberties, eliminating any kind of autonomy, without, of course, you being dependent on the state. This, to me, is perfectly exemplified by the latest move announced by Joe Biden, the president of the United States, that says he's going to be regulating Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because, quote, it's a matter of national security, even though cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin essentially act like digital cash. Is he going to be banning cash in the matter of national security next? Well, who knows? But very interestingly, in response to this, there are a lot of states, including Arizona, that just introduced a bill that is trying to make Bitcoin legal tender in their state, standing up for people's financial future and ability to move away from the criminal Federal Reserve banking system. A lot of states pushing back against Biden, against this very unpopular policy that he is set to implement, as many states are making a very strong stance against it. In New Zealand, the government there is so draconian that their citizens are literally looking towards the Taliban for help, and I'm not just saying that in a facetious way. This is the crazy story of Charlotte Bellis, who is a pregnant New Zealand journalist that has been stranded because of New Zealand's insane totalitarian Orwellian quarantine policies that have created a backlog and prevented many people from going home, including this pregnant journalist, leaving her diplomatically stranded. She was a journalist, so she had visas to stay in Afghanistan, one of the few places in the world where she could legally stay. This journalist reached out to a senior Taliban contact, asked them for permission if she could return in Afghanistan, which she was forced to return to because the government of New Zealand rejected 59 documents and rejected her application for an emergency return to her home country. Absolutely insane story, highlighting how bonkers many countries that have proclaimed themselves to be democracies, who, according to the eyes of this New Zealand journalist, are worse off than the Taliban. And this kind of insanity is not just in New Zealand, it's also in horrible, disgusting states like New Jersey that just sentenced Ian Smith, a gym owner, for the criminal act of keeping his gym open during lockdowns. He got 1 year of probation, 1 year too many, for the crime of trying to keep people fit and healthy. Ian Smith did nothing wrong. The state of New Jersey should already be even more ashamed of itself than it already is. There's a reason when I was in New York City, we always called it Dirty Jersey. And here in the United States, we can only expect more government, more bureaucracy, as of course the noted UK speed camera nightmare is coming to the United States, all under a plan of Pete Buttigieg that is planning to put up money-generating speed cameras all throughout the United States, all in the name of generating revenue for the state. As of course, there's even some preliminary data suggesting that these cameras actually create more car accidents, and they are widely despised by the general public, with even the right and the left both opposing them, since of course this is not only a government overreach, but also will be financing and funding funding many police forces all throughout the United States. And with Americans just being constantly pushed with more and more bureaucracy, nonsense, bullcrap, when will we push back like Canada is? Well, I don't know, but we got new Apple emojis that show a pregnant man, so there's that. Also, if you're a dude, you gotta watch out now. Because allegedly you could get pregnant at any moment. Now, that's going to make me change a lot of personal decisions that I've been making, including with what I choose to wear outside to the general public, because it will only be exclusively shirts and hats from thebestpoliticalshirts.com, our absolutely ridiculous merchandise store that strives to either kick you out of your local supermarket or make some of the best friends in your life, as of course these shirts will bring people together that are like-minded, that are individualistic, that believe in freedom, that believe in laughing, that believe in comedy, and of course scare away a lot of the Kyles and Karens out there that want to regulate and control every part of your existence. Again, if you haven't worn an absolutely ridiculous, eye-opening t-shirt yet, check them out on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We have a lot of very thought-provoking ones, including the one that I'm wearing right now, which you could get on our store. The link is down in the description below. Click on it right now because you're just going to have fun scrolling through it. This is our latest anti-Fauciism shirt, and we usually release shirts once a week. Check them out all right now. Now, I'm not no expert or genius, but this is allegedly real-life video coming out of the Canadian Parliament right now that we cannot independently verify.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've gone too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to just keep our composure. We can't have anyone freak out.
And with the way things are going, that wouldn't be surprising for me if that was actually happening, as of course there's a major convoy. There's been a mass mobilization, some people say a mass awakening of individuals in Canada saying enough is enough of the lockdowns, of the mandates, of the restrictions, of the government trying to control every aspect of my life. And there's a number of truckers now that are fighting and standing up for people's personal freedom. Truckers are, of course, the backbone of any society. They are the reason why we have food on our tables, and they literally act like the bloodline for any kind of society that is dependent on them to create the current existence that we are in. Now, throughout the week, we have been covering this convoy as it has been growing, gaining more support, raising millions of dollars for the upcoming legal battles that, of course, they're going to be going through when it comes to challenging the Canadian state and their track, trace, and database, almost akin to a social credit score system that they have currently implemented in that country. The system essentially rewards people who comply with the whims of the state and punishes those who do not. Now, this has been a very significant development since, of course, this movement seems very organic, seems very natural. It has come out of nowhere, and it has garnered large swells of support from, of course, the general public and people in the working class. And now they have finally reached Ottawa, and you could see this mass mobilization of all the truckers, of all the people that even in these cold, frigid weathers have come together and told the government, the state, that, of course, they are unhappy with everything that they are doing and implementing against them. What's the response by the government in this situation? Did they say, hey, let's listen to these people. Let's see what they want. This is a huge swell of people coming together demanding that our government act differently. What can we do better to serve the public there? Nope. Absolutely not. Justin Trudeau took his tail between his legs and ran off, as we're finding out that Justin Trudeau and his family left their home in Ottawa for an undisclosed secret location because of alleged security concerns, running away from their constituents, running away from the people that they are supposed to be serving. Some people are alleging that Trudeau has fled to Cuba, but we have not seen any verifiable reports of that happening. But the way that this is characterized, the way that this plays off is that the government is not interested in serving the will of the people. It's interested in ignoring that and serving, of course, special interest and multinational corporations tied into billionaire globalist cabals like the Davos Group and the World Economic Forum, where even Klaus Schwab a few years ago was bragging about how half of the government in Canada has been infiltrated, quote, penetrated by World Economic Forum representatives that are implementing their Great Reset, which of course is widely unpopular with the general public. This could be why, of course, Justin Trudeau is hiding, not answering, not talking to any of these people who have legitimate concerns against him and his actions against the people. And his response to all of this, especially when the convoy was building, was growing, was cowardly. It was slanderous. He called the movement a small fringe minority of individuals. He said that they're holding, quote, unacceptable views. And as you could see from the photos and videos that we have been playing with you, this is not a fringe minority. Believing that you have dominion over your human body is not an unacceptable view. It's more common sense than anything else. But of course, that's not the reality that autocrats live in, as of course even some governments in Canada have been making laws outlawing support for, of course, the Freedom Truckers. And there has been a huge disdain and backlash by the billionaire globalist cabal against them, with even the Washington Post writing scathing, disgusting articles slandering these truckers, these working people, and even went as far as to draw a political cartoon that's neither funny nor thought-provoking, just literally slandering these hard-working blue-collar people as alleged fascists. Now, this trucker protest is going to have some significant ramifications, not just politically, not just socially, not just white-pilling a lot of people who are paying attention to it, giving them hope, inspiring them, creating copycat movements like we're hearing possibly happening in Holland, as of course there is allegedly reports and videos of their own trucker convoys being mobilized right now to protest the moves that are happening in that country. But of course, with the truckers protesting, this leaves a lot of essential items unavailable at the stores, with many reports already coming in that there are some empty store shelves in Canadian grocery stores. Now, this is significant because of the protest, because by and large, it's a problem that has been exacerbated by the government putting restrictions on the free flow of capital and disrupting the global supply chain with their bureaucracy, mandates, lockdowns, and restrictions. If it wasn't for the government implementing these laws and decrees which have started this, which, by the way, would have only exacerbated this problem even more, then there wouldn't be a response for it that called for protest. It's the government that disrupted the global supply chain, that prevented many goods from coming to you, and they're trying to prevent more goods from coming from you with their latest mandates on the border that are absolutely ridiculous, not scientific at all. The data doesn't provide or show any kind of significance or help or increase of well-being or positive impact at all. It does show the government being able to implement and punish a public because they didn't do what the government wanted them to do. And that's a policy that, of course, I do not believe in. And there's a groundswell of individuals, whether Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, the Canadian truckers, Edward Snowden, Kyrie Irving, Russell Brand, you name it, even frickin' Kid Rock of all people. There's a movement underway that's an equal reaction to what the government has been doing to us for the last 2 years. It's significant. It's worth paying attention to. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members, because just like I said in the beginning of this video, not only is there an equal reaction towards an action, this is also dependent on the AI algorithm that, of course, runs YouTube, that if it sees a lot of people watching and sharing this video and long watch time, that means it will recommend it to other people, including other normies and Kyles and Karens out there. That's the plan. And then we're going to take all those normies, Kyles and Karens, and we're going to bring them in and we're going to give them uniforms, thebestpoliticalshorts.com, and they're going to spread messages where they can't be censored. And then we're going to bring them in to, of course, lukeuncensored.com, and then really blow their mind away. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. And I'm doing this because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively participating and being a part of this. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.